This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV Profit.
Trade is concerned, let's quickly look at the overall picture at this point of time. We are witnessing some good amount of action as far as most sectors are concerned. As always in a market like this, most sectors tend to do fairly well. Apart from that, we are also witnessing strength in the broader markets. Mid-cap 50 is up 1%, CNX mid-cap index is up 1%, CNX 100 is up 1%, Nifty Junior is up 1%. We'll try and bring in the managements of some of those sectors which get affected because of the trade policy to understand what's the latest as far as the trade developments are concerned. In the meanwhile, let's take a look at the big macro picture here. We've seen that after the fourth quarter GDP number came out, there have been a slew of downgrades coming in as far as the GDP growth expectation is concerned. CRISIL, being the latest, has actually scaled down its growth expectations as far as the full year is concerned. We have with us Mr. D.K. Joshi, Senior Director and Chief Economist at CRISIL. So thank you so much for joining us. Let's talk about the GDP growth target that you have lowered. Can you give us a sense what kind of estimates are you working with right now?
Well, I think, weak GDP numbers pointed towards the fact that the economy was slowing much faster than we had expected earlier. It also was pointing towards the reduction in consumption and investment demand. So I think all that, and along with the other factors that were playing out, I think the revision from our side was due, and I think the GDP numbers that came out, they acted as a trigger for the revision. But I think that the revision also factors into the account that the global situation is now much weaker than was anticipated earlier. The exports are slowing down. So I think a mix of a variety of factors led to this downward revision of GDP growth.
Can you give us a sense how global factors come into all this?
Well, I think in today's interconnected world, no country can insulate itself from global developments. I think so. I think as we saw during the Lehman crisis, our growth also went down. I mean, when the Western economies went down. So I think same thing could play out again if the Eurozone crisis intensifies. I think the challenge there would be primarily for the exporters, I think, because the export demand will dry up. The credit freeze, if that pans out, I think that would be another challenge. I think the only good news from the intensification of crisis will be the collapse of commodity and oil prices, I think, which are already coming down. So overall, I think it's going to be a negative on growth. And if we believe that if Eurozone crisis intensifies and spins out of control, then our growth could actually fall below 6% also.
Growth has been tepid. Do you think a rate cut at this point of time could actually prop up growth?
Well, I think we believe that it will create an environment for growth to go up. But unless we have other factors, I think unless we see action from the government in terms of easing of issues related to mining sector or land acquisition, I think many of the things that are bottlenecking the economy right now, I think those bottlenecks need to be eased. Unless that happens, I think the growth cannot go up very significantly. The central bank rate cuts will only act at the margin.
Can you give us a sense, how do you see investment flows panning out over the next 1 year?
Well, I think, as I said, I mean, it's not the main reason for the investment flow being muted. I think there is a home bias for foreign investors because of problems in Eurozone, the risk appetite is low. So I think that also dries up the capital flow coming into India. And I think the issues like GAR, etc., did create a negative sentiment. But I think at least they have been shelved for a while right now.
All right. Well, that's the Chief Economist of CRISIL talking about the growth outlook. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV Profit.